What's up everybody, welcome back to another drawing tutorial. So today we're going to be drawing Tengen versus Gyutaro from Demon Slayer. So it's a close-up on both their faces, right? So I'm on a landscape page, use pencil eraser and hit pause if I go too fast. So it's kind of that sort of iconic scene of them both kind of screaming at one another. So center point of my page is about here. We'll start with Tengen over this side. Now, this is awkward. Right, their heads are like tilted back, mouths open, really big. So let's start with Tengen's big eye. So center point here, their heads nearly touch in the middle, right? So his eye is like over to the right hand side. And we're gonna go, yeah, we'll just go with kind of like a curved line that goes up this way. And around the back. You want to make it a kind of a thicker line. Quite a dark sort of line like this. Right, and then this will kind of spike down this way. Okay, and it'll come down and in, like so. Okay, so we have a tear duct actually drawn in here. Right, like so. So his head is going this way, Gyutaro's is going in this way. So he's kind of like looking up and to the left. So we got like this eye, it's got all these angles in it. You could draw it circular if you wanted, but you know, in Demon Slayer it kind of is sort of angled like that. Then eyebrow, right? It's kind of thick eyebrow drawn in above here. So just like it goes, touches his eye right across the eye and up, and then back into here. And then we'll give him like an eyelid line going this way. You can't actually, there isn't any scene in there, but we got some more sort of stress lines kind of around his eye, right? Now coming down across the middle of his face, he's got like a hair spikes that comes down just across his face here. Curves right down. Just cuts off the middle of his face. And we got like some texture lines here as well. So his nose then kind of sticks out from here. So it's going to spike out, down, like that, right? A pointy sort of nose. And the nostril, just here. Bring this up a bit more. There. Right, so then that big mouth, right? So just underneath the nose. So it's gonna like come down this way. Around the other side, like crazy big mouth, right? Around here, it kind of looks like a letter D, you know, a capital letter D. Could have like a stretch line just coming out from his mouth. And then inside here we have teeth. So that comes around the back, and the top just comes across here. And then his molars in the back, just there, because we're looking like up inside his mouth. Teeth and tongue on the bottom. So we got like molars just here, and teeth along the bottom. It's coming across that bottom lip, around the back to there, and then his tongue kind of will just bump down here. Can't really see into the back of his mouth, but I'm going to draw sort of that dark circle that usually is there. Right? You color that black, and then this will all be dark navy. Put some stretch lines just around the edge of his mouth here as well. that. So his other eye is like in behind here, but I think I'll just draw his sort of the lines for his face first. So his cheek kind of comes out here. Follows side of his mouth. Goes up and around for his brow there, right? So his other eye is like in this space, real small. His chin comes around here. Then it goes up towards his ear, somewhere here. Right, so we'll try to deal with his eye now. So you can barely see it, so it's in behind his nose, right? So kind of like it's smaller, so it curves out around there, right? It's got a little bit of a spike on the end of the eyelid, thicker line. But we're in 3/4 pose, so that means like you can only see 3/4 of his face. So this is like skinnier. So like this whole space is like half the size of this. So like the edge of his cheek to his nostril will go once, twice, you know, to across there. 3/4, so a quarter is missing. So this is much smaller, right? And then the bottom eyelid comes around behind his nose. And then his actual eye, just here, this angled sort of eye like that. And he's got like all these veins and stuff because he's like super stressed out. And his headband line, right? So his ninja sort of headband line that he wears comes right across the top of his forehead to about here and starts to go up this way. And here. And then you'll have sort of like eyelid line and his eyebrow lines, but he, you know, like that kind of thing. Pretty sure that should be like these kind of lines because he doesn't have eyebrows, so I think this is an error or a shadow just sort of in the show. So I'll just draw those lines there. Right, and then we got like stress lines coming around his eye. On the bottom. And right, so then his ear, sort of here, quite big, comes around, meets an earring, and another earring like that, and then a sideburn just there, and then the ear lines on the inside. So the easiest way, I always say, is a letter J kind of thing. And then you can add more if you want. So it's always different. Every artist does ear lines differently. So his sideburns then kind of zigzag just up towards his headband. And then we have all details inside here. So like scratch marks and blood and everything, right? So like blood running down his face. Right, so I'll draw it in. It's all done with red, red line. So if you're coloring, you know, do it with red. There's no black outline really in the anime. There might be in the manga, but not really in the anime. So this blood kind of joins those tattoos he has on his face. So they kind of, the blood sort of makes them all the same. So it's all just red in here. know, there's like one of those tattoos that comes out around here. And then another there. And that's just all blood. Right, and all sort of scratches and sweat as well. So like beads of sweat. Coming down his face. More blood down here. There's like a shadow on his chin too. Blood coming out of his mouth. Bead of sweat. Dirt and scratches and much of that as you want now. Okay, so we'll go up and try and do his hair and his headband. So there's all these jewels and stuff on his headband. It looks like a cut and like it's cracked in the middle. Okay, so this will curve around here, right? It has an edge line along the bottom. Right, that'll eventually go up and around, join the end here. And there's these jewels, 2 of them, right? So they kind of sit off it. So they sit up off it like that. You got all these angles for it here. And then the next one sits up off it here. And again, angles along the bottom. Kind of thing like that. You just connect it with the metal. And then there's like 3 at the back. So like 1 sitting off here. Another one. Like so. Okay, so then the rest of his hair, right? So he's got like a couple of hair spikes coming out from the front of his head here. Like this way. And then like a big one coming back up here as well. So it's like his hair is like all tied normally, but this is like big hair spike coming out here. We've got like some texture on it. And then some like coming out from the bandages on his wrap that wraps his hair. Coming out here. And then his head sort of just curves around towards the back of his neck. And then you'll have just hair spikes for the back of his neck there. And then these lines that show the wrapping sort of. So this wrapping comes out around the back of his head. This way somewhere. So there's all these bandages keeping his hair all wrapped up. Like so. And then he's a bit of a ponytail kind of sticking out here, right? So it's just some hair spikes back this way. Like that. So then the rest of his neck. So we've got like coming out from his chin just here. It goes down in behind his collar. Coming out from the chin, say here. That, and you'll have a neck muscle line and like some sweat and scratches and stuff. And then his collar comes out around like so. His white collar, that's the center of it. And then the next section goes out around behind his neck. And then This is the white section that comes out and down, and then around, back up the other side. And then this has a line, like a stitching line just here. And then this one. And then his shoulder, neck, collar area goes off the page that way. And then we'll have like a center line just going that way. Shoulder coming down here. And then shoulder that way. And he's got like all these veins and stuff. Do. Right, so that's Tengen. Let's go over and do Gyutaro. So Gyutaro's like right next to him here, right? So his nose is like here. So we'll do this kind of spiking out nose just to get our sort of center point, right? You do this kind of zigzag line, right? It's kind of like a 7. Like if you remove that bit, it's like a little 7 just there, and then it's got a zigzag line on top, and then the nostril like so. So luckily for us, his eye is closed on this side, so it kind of makes it a little bit easier. So goes out from the nose, down here, moving back in. So that's his closed eye, right? And this will have sort of texture around it. Eye line there. So the big eye over here. So we go up and down. Curved line that way. And you want to sort of thicken it up the top. Kind of like Tengen's. And then it comes down around into there somewhere. So he's looking top right, so just go around real small. And he's got like the Chinese writing, or Japanese writing, should I say, sort of in the eye there, but you can't really make it out. And then he has veins all going around. His eye as well. So in big mouth, opposite direction, this way. So top line there, very close to the nose. Back of the mouth curves down. This side curves down there. Bottom lip comes over. And he's got like real sharp teeth inside here. So you just do this sort of zigzag thing. Coming across like that. And we can see some around the back. There. And maybe some of his gums. You know, some teeth lines and things there. And then teeth on the bottom. Again, like real big, sharp, pointy teeth. And then his tongue. Like so, and we just do the back of his throat back there as well. Right, so then chin and side of his face, right? So chin comes out this way, up to the jaw. Like that. And then the side of his face, much like Tengen's, it goes out for his cheek around and in towards his eye. Got like a bump, like a wrinkle here. And then it'll go up for his forehead. There. Right, so he's got all like veins and things coming in on his face, right? So like in kind of stress lines around his eye. And an eyebrow here. Goes underneath his hair, but we'll just draw in eyebrow like that, and maybe an eyelid line. What we can see of it anyway. Frown lines and wrinkle lines and all this kind of stuff here. The eyebrow on this side kind of comes out from his nose, just down here. And like again, sort of all these veins. On his face and his shadow there underneath his bottom lip. Stretch lines for the side of his mouth, you know, the skin being pulled. And like hatching and dots and stuff. So his ear then, up here, out around, like so. And then ear lines just inside. Like that. So he has all those black lines and things on his face as well, but I'll just draw his hair first because it kind of covers his hair and covers his face. His hair does a little bit. So, right, so his fringe kind of cuts off his eye, right? So it kind of like curves back this way, right down like this behind his ear. Right, and then goes back in, up around to the top of his head. That way, right? And then we have another spike coming across his eye, around for his forehead there. And then this spike comes down this way, comes across his eye here. Anything you draw over, you just erase or color over. This goes up this way. So this will go all the way up and then start to come down like so. And then I'll keep like going back. Out here. And this goes down to spikes out here. Another one. Hair all flying back this way because he's launching an attack sort of front facing. Right, and then this goes up. Like this. And so hair coming out from behind his ear as well and down his neck. And then we have that bun that he wears on top of his head, right? So this kind of goes just up this way. And another one going out here. That, and then lines that way, and that's the front. And then some more hair coming down the front this way. And some more spikes this way. Like so. Oh, and he's got some just coming over his ear down here as well. So like back under here. Right, so then all those blobs of I don't know if it's ink or scars or what is it? I can't remember. I think it's, did he have a disease when he was human or something? Just a lot of these ink blots sort of things coming up onto his nose. Like that, and like just these sort of spots and stuff coming along here. Like so. Right, and then, so anatomy, so just neck coming down there, neckline, back of the neck there, like so, trapezius this way, to see now, let me see, so like center line for his chest here, and then this collarbone goes off that way, and then this collarbone, can't really see it, but she'll go that way, and then shoulder down there. I'm going to put Adam's apple there, and then his trapezius here. Bottom of his collarbones and stuff. And there's all veins. Veins on his neck. It's definitely not the carotid artery anyway, because that runs this way. Hey, I'm not trying to give out about the Demon Slayer animator's understanding of where veins are, but you know, there is one that runs that way. But hey, he's a demon. Maybe they don't have them. Right. And then, of course, you know, all these sort of action lines. You can do as much of this as you want. Dots. Yeah, they're kind of like launching themselves at one another. So there's a lot of this in the background. I won't do it all. Debris and sparks and sort of, you know, sparks flying because they're like hitting each other's swords and all that stuff. Right. But I think that'll have to do. Gyutaro versus Tengen Uzui. Hope it's helpful. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.